chairs. And crab table. Pushing your chairs and walking. Okay, well, smile and pushing your chair, okay? Wow, you guys did so good. That was awesome. So quiet. Everyone's sitting so nicely. All right, so previously we've been we've been reading lots of Leo Leone books, right? All right, so can someone start? Here's a picture of Leo Leone right here. Can somebody tell us what 2 books we've already read? Raise your hand. 2 books we've already read by Leo Leone. Avery. The Mouse, so Alexander and the Wind-Up Mouse, okay? And there's one more that we've already read. Moses. It's mine. Great job. Okay, so we've read 2 books by Leo Leone so far, and today we're going to read a new book. We're going to read this book called Frederick. Give me a thumbs up if you've read or heard about this book before. Thumbs up. Wow. Okay, hands down but in your laps. So we're going to read this story, and then we're going to retell the story and talk about the lesson learned in our Leo Leone book. Okay? So we're going to start reading Frederick by Leo Leone. Crisscross applesauce. Everyone, eyes up here. All right. Frederick. All along the meadow, where the cows grazed and the horses ran, there was an old stone wall. In that wall, not far from the barn and the granary, a chatty family of field mice have their home. Also, where are they? Raise your hand. What's the setting? It looks like, are they inside, outside? Is it day or night? Carter?
It's day and they're inside a
And they're outside near a wall, a stone wall. Moses? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it said along the meadow. Very good. That was good listening skills there. But the farmers had moved away. The barn was abandoned and the granary stood empty. And since winter was not far off, the little mice began to gather corn and nuts and wheat and straw. They all worked day and night, all except Frederick.
Can we guess what he does?
All right, so have you ever felt like you were maybe working with a team or a partner and you felt like you were doing everything and they weren't helping you? So, Frederick, why don't you work? They asked. I do work, said Frederick. I gather sun rays for the cold, dark winter days. So maybe he is working, just in a different way. And when they saw Frederick sitting there, staring at the meadow, they said, "And now, Frederick?" "I gather colors," answered Frederick simply, "for winter is gray." And once Frederick seemed half asleep, "Are you dreaming, Frederick?" they asked reproachfully. But Frederick said, "Oh no, I'm gathering words, for the winter days are long and many, and we'll run out of things to say." So raise your hand, does it seem like Frederick is working? It seems like he is working, but not in the same way as others, right? They're gathering food and shelter to prepare for the winter, and he's preparing in another way. It could be. mice told stories of foolish foxes and silly cats. They were a happy family. So at first they seemed really prepared, huh? They had lots of food and shelter. They were warm. But little by little, they had nibbled up most of the nuts and berries. The straw was gone, and the corn was only a memory. It was cold in the wall, and no one felt like chatting. Then they remembered what Frederick had said about the sun rays and the colors and words. What about your supplies, Frederick? They asked. Close your eyes, said Frederick, as he climbed on a big stone. Now I send you the rays of the sun. Do you feel their golden glow? And as Frederick spoke of the sun, the four little mice began to feel warmer. Was it Frederick's voice? Was it magic? So they were imagining the sun rays and it was making them warm. It was making them feel warm.
So he did actually call out the sun.
Ooh, so he did actually call the sun. And how about the colors, Frederick? They asked anxiously. Close your eyes again, Frederick said. And when he told them of the blue periwinkles, the red poppies and the yellow wheat, and the green leaves of the berry bush, they saw the colors as clearly as if they would have painted it in their minds. So they felt more comforted when they imagined this. And the words, Frederick? Frederick cleared his throat, waited a moment, and then, as if from a stage, he said, who scatters snowflakes? Who melts the ice? Who spoils the weather? Who makes it nice? Who grows the four-leaf clovers in June? Who dims the daylight? Who lights the moon? Four little field mice who live in the sky. Four little field mice like you and I. One is the spring mouse who turns on the showers. Then comes the summer who paints in the flowers. The fall mouse is next with walnuts and wheat. And winter is last with little cold feet. Aren't we lucky the seasons are four? Think of a year with one less or one more. Wow, so he's a poet too. When Frederick had finished, they all applauded. But Frederick, they said, you are a poet. A poet where he rhymes like poetry and he has a way with his words. Frederick blushed, took a bow, and said shyly, I know it. Wow, so did Frederick end up helping in his own way?
Yes.
Yeah, how did he help? Raise your hand. How did he help in his own way? Lucian?
He gathered the sun and he got colors and did words.
Very perfect. That's exactly what it said in the book. Very good description. Okay, so first we read our story, Frederick by Leo Leone, and now we're going to retell the story, okay? So, if everyone can turn their bodies this way, I want to see your pretty eyes this way. Very good. So you two can go back by Moses and Eva, yeah?
Yeah, me and Declan?
You guys are okay.
Yeah. Hunter was supposed to be fun.
And Jack, do you want to move up in that orange spot so you'll be able to see better? Could you do it for me, please? Thank you. Yes. Okay. Alright, so let's start. We're going to name our elements or retell the story, okay? So let's start with, what's our title of the story? This one's pretty easy. What was our title of the story? Frederick. Okay, we're going to raise our hand. Yes, Frederick is our title. It's okay, Lucian. We can find spots. All right, so Frederick is our title of the story. And, Jack, if you could sit on your bottom, crisscross applesauce. Thank you, buddy. Perfect. going to name our characters from the story. Jack, can you tell me one of the characters?
Frederick.
Okay, and then raise your hand. Who else was our characters? I don't know if they said names, but we know who else. Claire? It was 4 little mice, and they called it a specific family. They called it a something family. Do you remember? Carter? Chatty. Wow, that was such a good memory. So 4 field mice, and we're going to put chatty family. Wow, you guys are so smart. I love how you can retell this story. All right, so you two need to say, "Is grasshopper sauce on your bottom?" Thank you. Okay, now we're going to say, okay, eyes up here, guys. Andrew, we're going to wait. Okay, so now we're going to say the setting of the story. We went over this in the middle of the book. Boston, do you want to tell us what was the setting of the story? Where was it? Was it daytime? Was it nighttime? It was day and nighttime at one point of the story. So we'll put daytime and nighttime. Okay, let's think of what season it was. What other settings were there? Why don't we take a minute and I want you to whisper. I don't want to be able to hear you. Whisper to your shoulder partner. What else can we put under setting for the story? What was the setting? Whisper to our partners. Or Claire.
Yeah, anybody can say it.
Andrew and Adam, why don't you guys open that up? All right, if you hear me, clap once. If you hear me, clap 2 times. Okay, let's see. Adam, do you want to share, what did you and your partner talk about? What was one of the things? Winter, yeah, because it was cold. It was coming into winter. Okay, and were they inside? Let's see, let's have someone who's raising their hand. Dex? They were inside? Well, they were outside and near a rocky stone wall. So we'll put outside in stone wall. Now, do I have to write complete sentences up here? No, because we're just taking notes, so that's okay. All right, hands down for a minute. Now we're going to, Jack, can we sit on our bottom and eyes up here? Thank you, buddy. All right, now we're going to think about the problem in the story. So, what was the problem? Well, to start, it was winter, so what did they need to do? Carson? Get food and shelter. So winter was coming. So needed to collect food. What was another problem in the story? How did the other mice feel? Raise your hand. Someone who hasn't shared yet. Ava, do you remember another problem in the story? How did the mice feel about Frederick? Do you know or do you want to pass? Maya. Hunter, eyes up here. They felt like Frederick wasn't even helping. So, other mice felt Good job, guys. Okay, so now we're going to try and name our events in the story. So let's think about, it started with winter coming, so they needed to collect food. What was more events in this story? Let's see, what happened next? Avery? Good, they made shelters and collected food. So they made shelter and collected food while Frederick, Jack, can you come up here? Can you come sit in the purple square and sit up close? So they collected food and shelter while Frederick, he collected 3 things. Can somebody name one of those things? Boston? Sunrays? While Frederick
collected
sunrays. Raise your hand if you can tell me another thing that he collected. Andrew. Colors. And one more thing he collected. Anahi? Words. Good job. Perfect. Okay. Then what happened? So then they were eating their food. Winter came, right? And they were eating their food. And then what happened? Alex. They ran out slowly. So winter came.
so this is the event.
Yeah, these are the events. Winter came. They were happy and slowly ran out of food. Okay, so what did they do? They asked Frederick for help, right? And what did he do? He helps them do what? Dex? You want help from Hondo? Hondo, can you help us? So they asked Frederick for help. They asked him, and what did Frederick do? So they imagined the sun rays and they got warm. And then he said something else about the colors. He helped them imagine the colors. And then what did he do? He said a poem. Okay, so we'll say Frederick helped the mice get warm. Get warm. What else did he help get warm? Imagine the colors. And said the poem. And Lucian, what did you say? What did you just say? That was the solution. So the solution was that Frederick really did help, right? That's the solution of the whole story. They were upset with Frederick in the beginning because they felt like he wasn't helping. But really, Frederick was helping, just in his own way. Very good. I love how you realized that, Lucian. That was a really good thought. Okay, so let's think. What are so don't judge others. Very good, Shayla. Okay, and what's another lesson we can learn from this book? Avery? That was a great one. Okay, so respect others. And let them help in their own way. Okay, and maybe one more friend want to help us? Hondo? Maybe don't tell them, maybe you can help them, but you don't have to boss them around or tell them what to do.
Is this a Caldecott book?
Ooh, that's a good question, but let's raise our hand.
Yes, it is a Caldecott. It has one.
Okay, so yeah, Lucian asked if it was a Caldecott book, and look, it has one of those.
Caldecott thing.
Okay, so we are gonna put this. Sit down, Dad.
Caldecott honor book.
Okay, and our last element we're gonna talk about is the genre. So was this book fiction or nonfiction? Raise your hand. Was it fiction or nonfiction? Kyle? So was this book fake or would you say it was real? Fiction or nonfiction? Let's let Kyle answer. Fiction, he said. Very good. And what are some ways we can know that this book was fiction? Carter, could you help us? How about for one, do mice don't talk in real life?
And
Lucian, you want to raise your hand and answer? What else do you have to add? Well, yeah, they probably could live in like a rock wall, but something else that they could. What about could they?
They can't gather some reason imagine colors and reason.
Oh, they can't. That's a good one. They can't stand on 2 feet. They stand on 4 feet.
What if they teach about such?
Okay, now I want you guys to take a minute and I want you to think about the lesson of the story. Okay? So close your eyes and think about the lesson of the story that we just read. And then I want you to think how you can relate it to some things that your family does. How you guys work together with your family at home. Okay, so we're going to try and make a connection. We're going to think about how you work together with your family at home. What are some of your family traditions? So for example, let's see. How do I work together with my family? Well, I know that it's a tradition every year for my whole family to come over at Christmas time. So my whole family, like my grandma, my grandpa, everyone comes over to my mom's house. And so me and my mom, my dad, and my sister, we all work together to clean the house, to get dinner prepared, to make sure that all of our guests are happy whenever they come, right? So that's one of our traditions, how me and my family work together to make sure that it's the best Christmas. What's something that maybe you might do with your family every year? that you work together and you all have a part to make sure it's ready. Let's see. Lucian, you're sitting crisscross applesauce already. What do you do with your family?
Easter.
Okay, so Easter, and that's coming up. What do you guys do to work together?
I go to Easter egg hunt. I guess that's a part of me working because they want me to find it.
Okay, so maybe you're, so they help you maybe that you guys work together to find the Easter?
No, I just do it all by myself, and my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, and my dad hide the eggs.
Oh, so you guys work together. They hide the eggs and then you go and find them. Okay. Let's think of another friend. Shayla? Oh, so you contribute. You do your part and they don't treat you differently because you're not doing what they're doing. You still play a part, right? You still help. Just like Frederick helped in the story. We'll call in one more friend. Boston, can you sit up? Sit up. Boston? Ooh, you all work together to put up the Christmas tree. Maybe does your dad bring it in when it's really heavy? Does he help bring it in? And then you might help decorate it? Yeah? Alright, so those are all really good examples. Now that we've read the story and we retold it with our elements, now we're going to do an independent activity, and we're going to really focus on the beginning, the middle, and the end. So we're going to look at this reference on the board. It says the beginning, you introduce the characters, the setting, the problem with a lot of detail. So let's think, what happened, which one of these happened in the beginning of the story? Raise your hand. I'm just going to put a B next to it to represent what was in the beginning of the story. Moses, which should I put for B? That's perfect. Yep, in the very beginning of the story, winter was coming, so they needed to collect food. Okay, and let's look what it says for M. It says, explain the events and orders and use the words, include dialogue. So what happened in the middle? What happened in the middle? Let's put an M next to that. Lucian?
They were a happy family at first, but little by little they munched on all the food, and there were only a couple nuts and berries left, and the straw was all gone, and the corn was only a memory.
Wow, you can recite the whole thing.
And Frederick said, close your eyes.
Good, and he had him imagine.
Yep.
Right. So we'll put an M next to this whole part right here. And at the end it says, how is the problem resolved? What is the narrator left feeling? Or what was the solution? So, under solution, this whole part would be the end, right? Where Frederick helped the mice get warm, and imagine the colors, and how Frederick was really helping the mice prepare just in his own way, okay? So let's just do a little quick self-reflection really quick. 0 to 4. How well do you feel like you could retell this story in the beginning, the middle, and the end? How well? 0 to 4. 0 being, wow, I don't know what happened in this story. I couldn't even tell you. 1, I kind of know. 2, I feel like I know, but I couldn't really tell a friend what happened. 3, I feel like I know what happened in the story, and I could tell it to a friend. Or 4, I feel like I could teach about this to class. You really feel like you know. Okay, so right in front of you, 0 to 4. How well do you feel you know the story? No. Okay, Jack, let me see your reflection, please. Okay, very good. All right, we're going to call by rows to quietly go back to our seats and go over our independent practice. So I want to see the row who's sitting crisscross applesauce. Their hands are in their laps. Wow, they have signs up even. Oh, wow. Look at that. That whole red row is sitting so nicely. Let's watch them walk quietly and sit in their seats quietly. Let's watch them. Lucian. Awesome. Wow, they're all sitting so quietly. Drake. Orange row, let's have you quietly walk back to your seat. Orange row, go ahead. All right, blue row, let's quietly walk back to our seats. Blue row. Green row, let's quietly walk back to our seats. And purple row, let's quietly walk. Ooh, Drake, let's try again. We're not racing yet. All right, so let's look for the first table who's quiet, ready to go, sitting in their seat. Oh wow, look at the whale row. Look at the whale table. Awesome job, guys. That looks so good. Trash. You guys are awesome. Okay, thank you for waiting patiently. Okay, so now we've read the story together, we retold the story and named all the elements, and now it's your turn to work independently and to help me show me what you know about the story. Okay, so you're going to get this fun little sheet. It has Frederick on it. Look, we have it all drawn for you by Leo Leone. And it has 3 parts, okay? Good. Yeah, so it has 3 parts. So I'm just going to model how I would start, okay? I'm going to put my name on the top. So everyone should be paying attention so you know what you're expected to do. You're going to put your name on the top. And then I'm going to start with the B. Make sure you look at B, M, and E so you know B for beginning, M for middle, and E for end. Your job is to write one complete sentence that happened in the beginning, one complete sentence that happened in the middle, and one complete sentence that happened in the end. Now I'm going to write pretty small on mine because I also want you to draw a small little picture to represent what you write. So for example, am I allowed to look at the chart that we did together? Yes. Yeah, you can refer to the chart we made. So for the beginning, I might write, winter was coming, so the mice needed to collect the food. So I would write that in a complete sentence using cups. Lucian, eyes up here, buddy. So using cups, so using a capital letter, lowercase throughout, periods at the end and spacing. And then I'm going to leave a little room and maybe I'll draw some mice eating or collecting food. Okay, so your job is to write one sentence for the beginning, one sentence for the middle.
You can exceed by 2 sentences.
Yeah, and if you do want to exceed, you can write 2 sentences. And draw a picture. Yeah, so every box needs one sentence, one picture.
Do we have to write a picture?
Yes. That would be a me. And I want you to remember to use cups, okay? Alright, so the most important thing is to look at the B, the M, and the E. Make sure you're putting it in the right order, okay? So we're going to work quietly. Our cups are on blue right now because I want you to work independently. So start by putting your name on the top of your paper. Whale table. Ava's working. Ava, go clip up. That's awesome. I'm going to look at full tables and watch how they're working to finish super. I'm going to go check something.
Hold this in there and then draw like little squares in the back and then say beginnings and the middle and then you can draw the picture.
I'd rather put it in the box, but if you need more room, that's okay. Wow, look how hard the whole fish table is working hard. I love that. I'm going to give the fish table a table point because I see them all working. None of them are talking to each other. I love that. Okay, and when you finish your writing in your one sentence for each box and your one picture for each box, the last thing you can do is you can color, okay? And I'm going to let you guys use colored pencils because you've been working so hard, okay? So I see a lot of friends writing sentences. Why don't you double check and check yourself that you're using cops, okay? Double check that your name's on your top of your paper so I know who is who. And we're coloring after we write all of our sentences, okay? I see some beautiful handwriting. Yeah. And then, but then in the end, what did we find out? How? Mm-hmm. Perfect. See, you got it. That's awesome. So I'd fix your beginning then. Talk about the knife. Making sure that you have your capital letters, your lowercase throughout, your punctuation and your spacing. And I see some friends write more than one sentence. They're trying to go above and beyond. Awesome.
so I'm just going to pencil up above it. And then you should have pictures that match your words, right? And then read this one. Hold on to show what this is. There's a vertical helping blue. Oh, because. Okay, so always reread, right? When you're writing it, that way you'll know if you leave out a word. Oh, you drew now? Don't forget to pocket in another side sentence with set up. You told them.
There's not a great one.
As long as you're done with your writing, then you can start start your coloring.
They took the hot and baked bread.